All right. Is the government really responsible for your health and wellness? All right. And if not, who is? All right. Stay tuned and let's find out together. All right. I am Tommy Pichardo, aka the Keto Rockstar, coming at you once again. We're ready to rock and roll. Basically, this is a continuation of the last podcast that I made titled Keto is Not a Diet. I had someone comment that it cut off about 22 minutes into it. That was intentional because I had to edit it because it was very long. And no one's going to sit around for an hour and 45 minutes listening to a teaching. Typically, if we cut it down and break it down into smaller bits and pieces, it's easier for you to digest and understand it. All right, so this is a continuation. I want to cover a couple things about who's responsible for your health and wellness, especially today where Americans, 70% of Americans are unhealthy. All right, so let me just go over a couple things that I said last time in the last video. You want to check out that video. It's titled Keto is Not a Diet. All right, so basically in that video, I mentioned that there are 3 prevalent factors that determine whether or not you're going to be successful in achieving your health transformation, right? The first one was, how about truth? Meaning having the right information. Because nowadays there's so much bad information and misinformation that it's misleading people in a lot of areas, not only in food and nutrition, but as you know, we live in a crazy world and it's going on all over. But in any event, so having the correct and true information is one of the factors that's going to determine whether or not you achieve your goal, and especially when it comes to a health transformation. The other is having your reason why. You have to have a very strong why, right? Your why will literally pull you to achieving and accomplishing your goals, right? And then the third, of course, was the right mindset, right? Basically, I shared a story. You want to go back and definitely watch that one video that I made about that, how mindset is vital, equally as important as truth and why. Because basically, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, all right? So basically, I'm going to go ahead and continue where I left off on that video that I was talking about about being a sugar burner, right? So basically, what that was about was, you know, I was going to be telling you how to reset your metabolism, how you can become metabolically fit, so that you can become a fat burner, as opposed to a sugar burner. That's what we want to get. We want to be able to burn body and belly fat. So basically, you know, earlier in that video, definitely want to watch it. You heard me mention how the health of Americans is deteriorating rapidly. 70% of Americans are overweight, 45% obesity, and these numbers are rising on and on. As a matter of fact, I looked at some videos that I made 5 years ago, and actually the percentages were lower. There were 40% obesity. And then there was a couple years later, 42. Well, today we're about 45, could be 46, 47% obesity by now. But here's the thing, it's increasingly getting out of control. All right? So basically, you know, also with type 2 diabetes, it's wreaking havoc with everybody. So basically, so to understand how Americans got to this predicament today, we have to go back, you know, with, you know, the overweight, the obesity, the autoimmune diseases, the metabolic diseases, and serious hormonal imbalance that are going on with people. You have to go back and take a look at what changes took place, right? Especially during the 1970s, when obesity was only about 15%, right? Compared to 45% today, and which is nearly tripled, right? In just in a matter of about 50 years. So just take a look, talk about overweight and obesity. Take a look of pictures of people at large gatherings, at concerts or the beach and various areas where a lot of people are. I collect these pictures. And it's very hard to find overweight people in those pictures. I'm talking about in the 70s, even the 60s. But look at pictures of people in large gatherings today. Ooh, it's a whole different ball game. About 7 out of 10 are overweight. So basically, the overweight and obesity epidemic started to spread rapidly during the 80s and 90s, especially right after that they introduced the food pyramid in the mid to late 70s. The thing is, obesity is also associated with the leading causes of death. Okay, it's part of that. Obesity is related to that. So in the United States, as well as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and yes, even cancer. Believe it or not, cancer, a lot of cancer today is caused, I think they say it's about 40%, I gotta double check those numbers, but about 40% of cancer is related to what we're eating, to food. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right? Cancer, all right? So, the food pyramid was a chart to basically use to guide us on what types of food, the macros being, carbohydrates, protein, and fats. But this basically what they did when they introduced it was the bottom row was carbohydrates. You have your bread, your rice, your pasta, and they suggested that we consume 60% of our diet be with carbohydrates, right? And then the middle was vegetables, and then and protein, and then the oils on the very, very tip of top, oils and fats. Okay, well, no editing. I don't do any editing. So anyway, so remember what I said. Also, what we found out was that pyramid was not accurate or correct. And remember what I said, that if you don't know the truth, you will believe a lie, right? Now, back in the 1800s, I think it was mid-1800s, the first diet book was written. And in that book, it talks about the fattening carbohydrates, that it's carbohydrates that make you fat, not fat. So there's reference way back then that talks about that. But in the 70s, they decided to throw us a curveball with the food pyramid. So basically, bring it back up to about 2005, the USDA, which stands for the United States Department of Agriculture, introduced a new diagram called My Pyramid, which doesn't even show fats and oils in the diagram. Because remember, everything was supposed to be going low fat. The fat was the culprit for making people sick, and heart disease and obesity and overweight. Remember, when you dig into it deeper, it was the sugar industry that actually caused this to happen, believe it or not. One of the things I do want to mention is basically don't take what I tell you. What I like to encourage people to go and investigate and dig in for yourself, all right? Because you have so many so-called experts out there saying this and telling you that, and to be taken as truth, and many times we're being misled. So that's why I always tell people, look, don't take my word for it. Do your own research and dig for information, and then you can confirm some of the things that I'm telling you, all right? So then what happened in 2011, it was revised again. And that's the one that's used today. And it's called MyPlate. And again, it doesn't even show fats and oils. Now, that's something that makes me say, why would that be? Well, especially when the health of so many Americans is declining so rapidly, right? I talked about in the 70s, the obesity rate being 15%, now 45%. It's tripled in about 50 years. Definitely make you go, So what happened? Then in 2015, 9 years ago, the government finally removed the ban on dietary fat. Okay? Yes, in 2015, the advisory committee of the USDA lifted the ban on total dietary fat. Now, did they make a major announcement? No, no. It was quietly done. However, it is on their website. So if you go to the website, you will find it there. But no major announcement or any other type of letting people know, hey, man, things have changed. Fat is okay now, right? And I remember when I first got involved with my health transformation, one of the coaches that I was working with, it was a master ketogenic coach, basically told me, no, it takes fat to burn fat. I'm like, what? Didn't make any sense because we've been told that fat makes fat. No, it takes fat to burn fat. And I'll explain more how that works and why. So, it took the government over 40 years, almost 50 years, to remove the ban on fat. And so meaning there was no more restrictions imposed upon it for consumption of fats. So no longer you have to lower your fat consumption unless, of course, you have a medical condition that requires it. So it's always best, as I mentioned earlier, to consult with your doctors or your healthcare provider to make sure that some of the information before you put it into practice does not interfere with your situation, okay? I am not a medical doctor, okay? So, all right, another thing that's happened is the food labels have not been updated, food labels, and are still providing outdated information. So again, we're not getting the right information, which is causing havoc with our health and wellness, all right? So, Lisa, here's a question for you. Who is responsible for your health and wellness? Right? How many of you believe it's the government? The government. All right? Well, look what happened in the last couple of years. 2020 rolled around, the government was telling us this and that, and come to find out it was a lot of BS, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? So, now more than ever, it is your responsibility to learn and to find out for yourself about the things that matter most to you. And that's in every area, not just in food and nutrition, but I say in every area. So that, you don't want to take anything at face value just because some so-called expert is saying so, all right? Now, and like I said, this even goes for the information that I'm sharing with you. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. The problem today is most people are not doing that. They hear something, see something, they Google something, take 5 minutes and say, I've done hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours of research by now in determining to improve my health and wellness. I explained my journey in that first video, which you definitely want to check out. How I was able to, reverse my obesity, raise my testosterone levels, right? Improve my overall health dramatically. A total of 70 pounds I was able to lose once I found out how, right? Correctly, found out truth, the right information, right? So you must do your own due diligence and don't just Google something or, But I mentioned that I will be sharing with you tools and strategies that you can implement right away. Okay, so starting tomorrow, if you so desire, to start improving your health. All right, now here's the first one. And what I'm going to do, this is going to be cut into little bits and pieces because, like I said, the first video was 1 hour and 40 minutes. And come to find out, I edited it down to like the 22 minutes. And the rest of it got lost. So I'm redoing some of this information. So I'm going to chunk it down so it's in bite-sized pieces for you to be able to digest it. And, maybe even go and find out if some of the information that I'm saying is accurate. And just to do your own due diligence. But I'm going to break it down. It'll be much easier for you to learn and pick up things. And then on the next video, which will be in a couple days, you can come on and I'll be continuing, all right? So basically, like I said, I'm going to be sharing tools and strategies that you can implement right away. So, all right, are you ready for the first one? All right, all right, all right. All right, let's roll. So basically, here's the secret to what I've learned to unbelievable health and wellness, and that is fasting, right? Now, fasting is the most powerful health and physical transformational tool in existence today. Not only today, but it's been used for thousands of years, right? People, it's amazing when I talk to people about fasting and the responses I get. You know, they're trying to lose weight. I've talked to many people, oh, I'm trying to lose these last 10 pounds. And I mention fasting and they freak out. Like, what? What do you mean I can't eat? Well, well, you want to lose that last 10 pounds? And here's an interesting story that I learned when I first got into coaching was I went to a metabolic conference in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. This was now right before the pandemic, right before the lockdowns. They had it was the Hard Rock Hotel, which is not that anymore. As a matter of fact, the event that I went to, that metabolic conference, was the last major event, last conference that they had at this hotel, at the Hard Rock in Vegas. Now it's the Virgin Hotel, right? Well, I remember I was with a group of people. My coach, the master ketogenic coach that I mentioned, and I went with them because I wanted to learn. I was learning, right? And we were invited. He knew somebody, I wish I remember his name, but he was, somebody very prominent in the area of metabolic health. And I'm sitting up in this penthouse, right, in Vegas. And we're talking, and I'm listening to him talk, and he says, basically what you got to do if you're really interested in losing weight, right, body and belly fat, you can't eat. And I looked at him with that same, like, what? You can't eat? He says, no, basically you can't eat. You want to lose body and belly fat? You got to stop eating. I'm like, whoa, it was so, foreign to me that I didn't understand it. And that's why I get the response from many people today. But in any event, it was great because I learned a lot from that gentleman. And here I am today, teaching, coaching, and mentoring men over 40 so that they can lose body and belly fat, increase the testosterone levels, increase energy, vitality, right? And so many other things that I've learned about health. All right, so basically, the other thing is I recommend fasting with the guidance of a health care provider, a coach, or a fasting practitioner, such as myself, who knows what they're doing and is actively engaged in fasting on a regular and ongoing basis, okay? I constantly do fasting. I do intermittent fasting daily. Basically, I go anywhere minimum of 12 hours up until 16, 18 hours between meals, all right? Very powerful, and I'll explain to that more later on. I'm gonna be trying to keep these videos at about 20 minutes because just for the attention span, once you get, if I would start talk for almost 2 hours, you wouldn't stick around. Plus people don't have time, people are busy. So I understand that, so I wanna chuck it down a little bit. So, and the reason why you wanna work with somebody, a coach or mentor such as myself, is because doing so will minimize any of the discomforts or reactions while on a fast or even a prolonged fast, okay? You gotta know, it's like with anything, someone to guide and direct you. Some people, oh, I got headaches, I got this, I got that. Well, we're here to help you so that when that happens, how to remedy that situation, okay? So if you go on your own and I tried fasting and I had this big headache and they never do it again because they had someone teaching, helping them, coaching them along, it would have been a different story. So I don't recommend you go it alone on your course, especially if you've never done it before or never had any experience with fasting, all right? And fasting simply means going without food for a prescribed period of time, all right? Fasting has been used for thousands of years. It's nothing new, all right? So millions of people have participated. Okay, so why is fasting such a powerful transformational tool? Right? I'm glad you asked. Basically, for starters, it resets your metabolism. So many people have a metabolism that is out of whack. So fasting resets your metabolism. All right, putting you into a state of metabolic ketosis. Now, I talked about ketosis in that first video, right? Keto is not a diet. Definitely want to look at that. It's only another 22-minute video, so you'll understand it more, right? Because ketosis is a far superior state for your body to be in for the purpose of burning fat and also to produce more energy. That's the other thing about being in ketosis, all right? So basically, what I want to do is talk about how to fast and the different ways of fasting in my next video. We're at about that 20-minute mark. I don't want to get you too overwhelmed, but next time if I break it down little by little, you can understand it, comprehend it better. I just want to say that if you like this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe, because I will be teaching and educating people on health and wellness. This is what I specialize in. My specialty is in men over 40. And so basically, you definitely want to stick around. I'm excited. This channel has been relaunched. I started it originally 3 years ago and did about 8 videos, 10 videos. If you look at them, if you go down the playlist, they were very highly edited, highly produced, lots of money to do. And I said, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to do this again, I'm going to keep it simple. And because, again, I don't have time to edit and hours. And, well, not only that, the dollars involved to hire someone to do it also was a factor. So stick around. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. And just come back. You're going to be, I think you will be blown away of the information that I have to share with you. And, we're going to get you on that journey to better health and wellness. All right? I am Tommy Pichardo, the Keto Rockstar. We'll talk to you guys next time. All right.